Hi, I'm Rich O'Brien. I'm the operations manager for PGA HOPE Charleston, and we are filming a series of videos here that we'll use, especially during the coronavirus, but after as well, on there to help our veterans through this time. Some golf tips, some tips about how to deal with post-traumatic stress and other conditions at this time here. Some of the things that we've used on there. With me today will be Daisy Kinney, our biomechanical expert here that's going to help us at Wescott, as well as Gunny Burge on that side there as well. And throughout the course of this series, we're going to bring in individuals like Perry Green, probably Carol Preisinger, maybe Joe Brosco, some of our instructors as well, to give some great tips to help improve your golf game, but also to improve the quality of your life, as we do with golf therapy as well. But many of you know, I had a very serious accident about 11 years ago where I broke my neck, broke my back, had 4 skull fractures, brain damage in every lobe of my brain. And at that time, it was really critical for me to find something that helped me overcome those injuries and to be able to have some therapy to bring me back from, basically the brink at that end of it there. And one of the things I did is I used deep breathing, visualization, and meditation in order to help me basically come back and rebuild my brain, and also give myself some golf therapy during that time period. I experimented with just about everything at that point, and it was very interesting, and the meditation really helped from that side. I had training in sports psychology, and I'd used it with touring professionals. I'd used it with college golfers to help them improve their performance, but I'd never used it before to improve injuries at that time. The more I researched it, the more I looked at it, it was really an interesting thing to see that what meditation could be used for. And some of the different things it helps with is stress and anxiety, depression, fatigue. It can elevate your mood. The more research I saw, I could use it to improve brain function and protects you against cognitive decline. So I decided to do it in the morning, and I decided to do it in the evening as well. And what I would wind up doing is, as I would get myself in the morning, I would focus on healing my brain. I would focusing on blood flow. I would get myself as relaxed as possible. I would shut down everything going on. I would start deep breathing. I would breathe in through the nose, then out through the mouth. The whole cycle, you could count it in a 4 seconds in deep breathing, hold it for 7, and then exhale at 8 seconds there. And Joe Bosco did one of the great audios for us recently on that, and took us through that. And that'd be something we can share as well. But, with that protocol, you get yourself as relaxed as possible, you calm your mind. And what I would do in the morning, I would focus on blood flow. I would focus on healing different parts of my brain, because I had damage in every lobe of my brain. And a lot of serious things working from there. And for about 20 minutes every single day, every single morning, I would focus on that. And, that was very helpful along those lines. I was calm. I was relaxed. I'd come up, be nice and refreshed after those 20 minutes of doing that. I'd do that every day for about 4 years on that side. I probably need to start doing it again, because I got to protect from cognitive decline right now myself, I think. But maybe we all need to do that, especially during this time period here where we all have a little extra time on our hands, and maybe we can use about 20 minutes a day to do that. In addition to doing the 20 minutes in the morning, what I also would do is I would also meditate at night. Just before I go to bed, I'd turn everything off. I would calm down. I'd turn the TV off. I'd cut out every other noise. I'd turn the lights off. I'd get into bed, and I would start deep breathing again. And as I took my deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, I'd start visualizing as well about my golf shots, my favorite golf shots I ever hit, my favorite rounds I ever played, as well as the favorite playing partners that I ever played with. And because I was able to do that, you know, it was very interesting. I remembered them as vividly as possible. I remembered every small detail on there, you know, what it felt like, what it smelled like, what it looked like, vivid detail, all the colors on that side. I would remember what I was thinking at that. I would actually replay that thought in my head over and over again. It would be my highlight. It was really a wonderful thing. These are my best shots, my best rounds, and my best friends on the golf course. It was really an amazing combination that worked through there. And as I continued to do this, I got better and better at it. And as you might know, one of my phrases is trading nightmares and flashbacks for golf dreams and new friendships. Well, for me, in a very real sense, you know, trading nightmares and flashbacks for golf dreams happened as I was visualizing my comeback in golf that first year. And it was really something I think that a lot of our veterans and anybody really can use right now from that standpoint as we go through. And, you know, it's something that's a great tool and work through. And there's a couple other ways we can get involved in doing this. So how do you get started in meditation? How do you get started? What do you need to do? I talked about deep breathing 4, 7, and 8 with deep breaths in about 4 seconds, holding it for about 7 seconds, right? And then deep breathing, exhale out through the mouth for 8. That's a great way to get started. The VA has a wonderful program here in Charleston on mindfulness. And I certainly encourage all of our veterans to check out that program there as a great benefit and a tool that works through on there. There is also a couple of their apps on there, like Headspace is a good app that goes through on there that you can check that out, that guides you through some imagery as well. But, you know, create a highlight reel in your head and work through there and combine it with deep breathing. And your focus will improve, your golf game will improve, because I couldn't hit a golf ball for a year. Yet every single day I did that, every single night, I would be at my happy place. And, you know, during the coronavirus stuff, we may not be able to be at our happy place in particular. But the amazing thing about it is in our mind's eye, we can be. And I think that's going to help a lot of people that way. The other side of meditation that's going to help is you're going to relieve your stress. You're going to reduce your anxiety. And you're going to be a much higher well-being as well from that standpoint there. So very good. That's what I have to share, Daisy. If you have any questions, or Gunny, got any questions, go from there.
No, I had a bunch of comments, but I'm just going to let it go right now. I'm just playing.
Okay.
Go. Yeah, it was great, Rich. Great.
All right, thank you on that one there. So now I'm going to introduce Daisy Kinney. Daisy comes to us, if some of you don't know her, she comes to us from the University of West Florida, and as well as the super speed end of it. She's from the London, England area there. So you're going to hear a funny little accent there, but that's okay. It sounds good on that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Daisy for some stretching advice as well as some short game advice, correct?
Absolutely. So firstly, just wanted to say thank you all for joining us on this e-call, I like to call it, using Zoom, which is a great platform. And after this, Gunny's going to talk you through why you should be using Zoom with your peers. But what I'm going to do today is, my background is I'm an exercise physiologist. I'm a golf biomechanist. So I basically tie the dots between how the body moves and how that links to the golf swing. And I've had quite a few requests from you guys to put together a small stretching program, because who couldn't benefit from some stretching, right? As we get older, we get stiffer. And I know that you guys are dealing with a lot of injuries. I'm excited to meet you all and learn about your injuries so that I can help you optimize your golf swing with what you've got, right? But while we're all at home and we have no excuse, we can't use the excuse, I don't have the time, because we all have the time. There's a short program that I'd like you to try if you can. And I know that it's going to help you with your golf game and overall quality of life. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. And I'll share. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now, guys. Can you see that?
I can see you in the upper right-hand corner, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So
Very good, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I see it.
Screen here. So as it said, this is a stretching program for anyone of any ability, but if you feel any pain or discomfort when you're doing this, please don't do them and seek some medical attention. Okay, so do whatever you can do, but don't worry if you can't do it. Okay, so we're going to hit every joint in the body that affects the golf swing. So we're going to start with the neck, and really simple. All I would like you to do is stand upright, or you can sit upright and look to the right and drop your chin to touch your collarbone, and then go the opposite direction. Okay, if you can't turn this far, if you can only turn this far and drop down, that's fine. Optimally, we'd like to be able to turn fully and be able to touch our collarbone, but don't worry if you can't do that. So I'd like 6 each way for those. I'm actually going to stop sharing the screen because I think it's more important that you guys can see me do these.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm not going to do any of those.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, so back to the neck one, just so that you can see me. We're going to look right and touch our chin to our collarbone, look left, touch your chin to your collarbone. Now, there is a way to cheat with this that you can only really see if you're looking in the mirror. But what happens is you look to the right, and as you go down, you hoik that other shoulder up to cheat, to gain that motion. So one thing I want you to be mindful of when you're doing these is to make sure your shoulders stay still, and you just do a nice smooth motion as far as you can go without that shoulder lifting up. Okay, so the next one, we're going to work our shoulders. Now in the golf swing, the shoulders work in different ranges. When you look at the shoulder, it's a mobile joint, which means it's supposed to be able to move 360, right? If you were to take our elbow, that doesn't want to move 360. That's just a back and forth joint. So this shoulder, our shoulders are very important that they're mobile. So what you're going to do is 2 different exercises. Some shoulder circles where you simply put your arm out in front of you, and we're going to make some small circles clockwise and then anti-clockwise. You're going to do 10 each direction. You can do both arms at the same time to save time. And then you can do medium circles, both directions, 10 each way, and then large. Okay, and again here, don't worry if you can't fully extend your arms or if you can't raise them above a certain height. Anything that you can do is going to benefit you. Okay, just getting some mobilization in those shoulders. The next one is if you were to go to the top of your backswing here, you see that it's very important that I can rotate this shoulder this way. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand up and you're going to put your arm out to the side and just simply rotate it backwards, like so. We're going to do 10. Now, another thing that people do to cheat here is they try and reduce this angle like this. So it's not 90 degrees. See this angle here? We need that to be 90. So just keeping your elbow level with your shoulder, just rotating that and mobilizing that joint. You're going to do 10 each side of those, okay? Now we're going to move on to what we call our thoracic spine, which is our upper spine here. This guy, we want it to rotate. If it can't rotate, the rotation comes from our lower back, and then we get things like herniated discs and the nasty stuff, the lower back pain that's going to stop you from playing. So honestly, if I was to pick 2 of the most important parts of the body that you need to stretch and keep mobile, it would be your upper back and your hips, because they're the joints that are neighbors to the lower back. So it's really important that we work on our hips and our thoracic spine, our T-spine, we call it for short. Now, to work on our T-spine, what I want you to do is stand with the wall behind you. So I've got this wall behind me in my golf posture. I've got my hands out here in front of me. I'm going to turn and try and touch the wall. Okay, as you can see, I'm very mobile. I'm hypermobile. So I'm going to be able to all do these that look easy, and you're going to do them. And don't worry if all you can go to is here. That's fine. We're just working on increasing that range over time. So then I'll go the opposite way into my backswing, trying to rotate and touch that wall. I'd like you to do 10 each side of those, and that's going to help again with that upper spine mobility. The next one we're going to do is our hips. Remember, that's my second most important joint to alleviate that lower back pain. And to mobilize our hips, what we're going to do, I'm going to move my camera slightly, is you're going to use the wall to assist you. So I'm holding onto the wall here. Now what this is doing, by me holding onto the wall, I'm stabilizing my upper body so that we can just rotate our lower body. Because if you were to hold this out in front of you and rotate the hips, your shoulders want to go with you, okay? We're not actually getting enough hip rotation. So when I'm holding onto the wall, I'm stabilizing my upper body, and I just want you to turn into your follow through, turn into your backswing. Okay, so you can see I'm turning my belt buckle to face you and belt buckle to face the other opposite direction there. Holding onto the wall is just going to assist in ensuring that the motion comes from the lower body, not from the upper body. Okay, so that's the first one for the hips. And the next one, obviously the hips have to rotate, but they also have to flex and extend. So really simple. If you're out there on the golf course, then simply bending down to mark your ball, you can work on this as well. But I just want you to put your feet shoulder width apart, not together, shoulder width apart. Keep your legs straight and just simply go down and touch your toes. Okay? I want you to do 10 toe touches. And that'll be all you need to do for hips. So standing wall assisted hip turns and toe touches. Okay? Now lastly, I'm going to finish off with the ankles, which are very, very important, and a lot of people neglect to think about their feet, and we wrap them up in modern footwear, which makes things a hell of a lot worse. So you're actually more beneficial spending as much time as you can barefoot or with shoes with a small sole, so that you've got all these tiny sensors on the bottom of your feet, and when you wrap them in spongy shoes, you're almost wrapping them in bubble wrap, because your receptors on the bottom of your feet now can't feel anything, and they're not going to register where they are in space, and you lose balance. Balance is really, really important for your golf swing. So working on our feet is absolutely essential, and it's a thing that everyone forgets about. So I'm going to give you 2 things that you can do to help mobilize your ankle, and hopefully that will help you increase the amount of energy that you can produce and increase your balance with the ground. So I'm going to move my camera now all the way to the floor and move my chair right there.
Do it on a chair, Daisy. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so you can see my feet hopefully here. So the first one is ankle rocking. So I want you to grab 2 fists, put them between your knees like so, and squeeze in. Now align yourself so that your feet aren't bent in like this. Align yourself so your ankles are stacked nicely under your knees. And then what I want you to do is really simply rock them side to side. Okay, like so. The technical term for this is inversion, eversion, but no one cares about technical terms. We're simply rocking our ankles left and right. Okay, where does that happen in the golf swing? Well, if you look at me in my backswing here, you can see that my left foot has had to have a certain amount of rocking motion. And then if I go to my downswing, my right foot has to have a certain amount of rocking inwards. So this is really important to keep your balance and stability in the swing. So just simply sit here, squeeze in with those knees, and rock left and right like so. Last one is, again, I want to keep this camera low so that you can see my lower body. It's most important here. I'm holding onto the wall, standing about a foot away from the wall. That's just going to give me an idea of where my knees want to drive to. So you can see that the motion isn't coming from my hips, it's coming from my ankle. This is called ankle dorsiflexion, and this is very important because in the golf swing there's a slight squatting motion, and if you don't have enough ankle dorsiflexion, then you're going to jump up into your toes. So if you're one of those guys that jumps up into your toes, this one's going to help you. Simply trying to get as little of an angle here as you can. Okay, so that wraps it up for my full body mobility program. And if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to shoot this out in an email with that PDF that I shared with you on the screen, so that you have a list of all the exercise names, and you can resort back to this video if you need to see me do them again. So now I'm going to go through any comments, guys. Any comments and any questions there?
Well, I like a lot of what you had there, especially, you know, I'm 54 myself. I need to flex and stretch more than I am on that side. And anybody that's had injuries, this is really an important element. So thank you so much for joining the team, and thank you so much as well for you know, the combination of producing these videos too, because I think these would be a valuable resource for us. So thank you, Dave.
Absolutely. Any additions, Gunny?
No, is it my turn yet? No, you did awesome, Miss Daisy. You know
Thank you. Thank you.
You just, you know, Rich stole my thunder a little bit. I'm gonna tell you, just stretching before any athletic endeavor. I learned a long time ago, you better stretch well before you get out there, because if you don't, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Exactly.
And the last thing us veterans need is to be stuck at home. Oh,
exactly.
wait a minute, like we are right now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. God bless you, Rich. You know, I thank you enough. No, I'm just kidding.
I've got one more thing, Gunny, before you
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Before you take it over, I'm going to share now some fun short game activities, because, you know, as Gunny said, you guys are stuck at home or might be stuck at home, but there's always things that we can be doing at home to get our golf therapy, right? So I'm going to share with you now. Actually, I just recorded this video on my front lawn, a chipping challenge. So I want to challenge all of you. All you need is your wedge, a couple of balls, and a bucket. It doesn't have to be a Lowe's bucket, but I use the Lowe's bucket. So let me share this with you and show you how bad I am at chipping.
I was going to say, first take, Daisy. Come on.
Oh, I'm kidding. All right, so I'm going to show you first the 5 yards. So pace out approximately 5 yards or just a short shot. And I want you to try and chip. Oh, in on the first one.
Okay.
I want you to try and chip and land it into that bucket. So the second one went too far. 3 in. Ah, hit the rim there on that last one. All right. So that's just the 5 yard one. Really easy, guys. Just chuck a bucket out there. And the next one we're going to do is 10 yards. So a little bit longer, very much tougher. I would recommend when you do these games, you don't have a vehicle or a window on the other side of where you're hitting.
Especially if I'm chipping.
So there's just a few things I wanted to go over technique-wise here, because obviously, in order to, you see that one just missed there, in order to get that ball into that bucket, you have to flight it up and get it to land down in a very, very small landing area. I wanted to go through a few things technique-wise that I'd like you guys to experiment with while you're doing this, to see if it helps you to land more balls in that bucket, okay? Now there's quite a few different approaches to chipping, but this is the one that I've found most success with when it comes to flopping the shot up and getting it to land in a tight area and getting it to land softly. So I've got my wedge here. Now the first point is to open your club face. So club face slightly open. Let's move you to the edge. Okay. So square club face here, open here. I mean, open the club face. I want the ball position to be more forward than normal, so more of the front foot. And I want to see a nice little wrist bend in this lead wrist, or that left wrist there. Okay, so you see how it's not over here, it's actually set. And if you're looking straight down the camera line, my hands are actually behind the ball. Can you see that? Hands behind the ball. Nice soft left wrist bend. Now all I want you to do is, with a slight open stance, ball position forward, is make a chip swing, so a shorter swing, maintaining that wrist bend the whole time, imagining that you're, be careful not to make a hole in my wall here, imagining that you're swooping under the ball using more of what we call the bounce on the bottom of the club, which is more towards this end here, the safer end to use. You're going to get less fats and less thins if we can use more of the bounce. The problem is most amateur golfers use the leading edge, and you see most golfers with ball back of the stance, hands forward, and now you're reliant on being incredibly accurate to hit the same low point every time. Otherwise, you're going to scull it or fat it. And so this technique, I've found you can gain a lot more forgiveness in your chip shots, and you can gain a bit more consistency in using that bounce and in hitting that low point, which is that point just before the ball, right? So I want to challenge you all, 5 balls from each distance, 5 and 10 yards. Maybe you can record yourself, maybe you can send it to your peers at PGA HOPE, and challenge each other to see how many balls you can land in those buckets.
Okay, interesting challenge there, Daisy. So,
I'd smoke her. I'd smoke her. Anyway, is it my turn yet, Miss Daisy?
Over to you, Gunny. Take it over.
All right, well, I want to talk about some responsibilities of the peer mentors, and, you know, PGA HOPE Charleston leading the way again. Thanks to Miss Daisy and Rich. And again, thank you both for what you're doing for the program. Because I are a veteran, and I have extremely benefited from it. Now, what we have to do as a peer mentor is more accountability. We're not there to teach them to play golf. I mean, I understand the golf swing most of the time. I mean, like anybody, but that's what the PGAs are there for. Great idea with the stretching. That's so amazing. And you can actually even do that with your guys before you start, as far as their pre-shot, their pre-game routine. Make sure they give themselves enough time to stretch, get the range in enough time. That's what we do. We had a guy a couple of years ago that I lost track of, and he was a Marine, which is kind of near and dear to me. So Rich and I really said, man, this peer mentor thing's got, you know, this has got some steam. And man, we got 53 peer mentors trained right now. Most sites don't even have that many people. And you know, and it's thanks to folks like Daisy who donates their time, like Rich, Perry Green, and obviously all the PGA professionals that help us to get the guys out there. It's easy for me to sell when I'm out there on the street and I go, hey, it's 7 weeks of free golf instruction. You know, I mean, who would turn that down? Most of the time, folks don't believe me, but it really is that good. And accountability. We'll talk about that every time you step on the golf course with your guys. And this Zoom app, I'm not much of a Zoomer. I mean, I'm not a new wave kind of guy. I like to pick up a phone and call somebody. Even a freaking landline. How about that, Daisy? But it's just making sure if somebody show up, man, pick up a phone, call them. You know, we got a lot of guys with PTSD. We got guys that are pretty screwed up. And, you know, if we got to handle a screwed up person, we handle a screwed up person. It's all about taking care of our veterans and helping our patriots everywhere. And I firmly believe that. And so that's all I got.
Well,
believe it or not, I'm done.
Thank you, Gunny, so much. You know, as the lead peer mentor at Wescott, and as you said, when you ask a Marine to do something, they're going to do something along those lines. So thank you for stepping up that role, and thank you to our other lead peer mentors at other sites as well, because you know, it's important from that standpoint to keep everybody connected throughout the whole series, and then, you know, not to have somebody fall through the cracks, not to lose anybody along the way. You know, hopefully we'll get that Marine back on that side. I think he will come back as well.
Big John will be back.
Exactly, and that's, you know, it's so important for us to reach out, because right now, especially when everybody's feeling isolated, when everybody's feeling alone at their home, you know, to have something like this where we can reach out and touch everybody across the country, where we can give them helpful tips that'll help them, that they can do while they got plenty of time on there, that'll help their golf game, that'll help their quality of life. That is key. But, you know, that face-to-face or that personal contact of the peer mentors to their squads is invaluable right now. And thank you so much, everybody that's doing that.
All right, Miss Daisy, I got one more quick thing.
Go on.
Our job as whatever you want to say, peer mentors, professionals, is we're trying to help these guys achieve their aha moment. Now, everybody who plays golf has the aha moment. Not everybody gets it, and not everybody will say, I want to play golf the rest of my life. But what we do to help them hit that 5-iron, 2 feet, or in Miss Daisy's case, chip 3 in a row in the bucket. Just kidding. But whatever we can do to make those veterans feel wanted, needed, and somebody cares, that's what it's all about. And God bless y'all. That's it.
Yeah, well said. Well said. So thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them over to Rich. You're gonna be taking the questions?
I'll take plenty of questions. It always seems to come to me anyway, and we'll share it. We'll share it through YouTube, correct? And we'll share it through our social media channels on that side. So, we've filmed this through Zoom, but we'll share it through social media with everybody. So that'd be a great thing. And thank you. Thank you so much, Daisy, for providing a platform here that'll be excellent. Yeah,
absolutely. So you guys have any requests?
You the girl. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, guys. If you guys have any requests for future content, maybe some people that you would like to hear from, some questions that you have that you want to get answered, just some general topics, we'd love to hear about those. So all of you stay safe, be healthy, God bless you all, and we look forward to seeing you next time.